Morning, everyone. It's Monday, the 2nd of November. A couple of days until the Civil War begins in America with the American election. But we're here, of course, outside the Swinton Town Hall extension at the council car park where they have the coronavirus testing run by Group 4 Securitas, known as G4S, masquerading, no pun intended on the mask, as National Health Service government staff. Now, on Thursday, as in 3 days' time, when the election announcements in America are given, and it probably all kicks off in every single urban area, you have the new quarantine, the new full lockdown happening in England. Now, as I said before, they're going to keep schools open because education is not a target for the financial chaos which is to come. This all ties in with an idea from the World Economic Forum where everyone's on board. Even Boris Johnson, who actually boycotted the last Davos meeting at the World Economic Forum. He didn't like it, a year ago, but now he's been beaten into submission. He is a broken man. Every government statement he does, he looks sad, forlorn, beaten. He looks like a man where some dark powers have some strong blackmail on him and he's having to do as he's told. So he was very much a Brexit man, and now he's a World Economic Forum man, and he is following the advice of all the scientists who are extremely alarmist and also incorrect. Can you believe it? Scientists are wrong. They're like priests or clergy. They're wrong. Now, Chris Whitty, the chief, I think, scientist on this, and Matt Hancock has lied. He has been in Parliament lying, saying that herd immunity as a goal is impossible. Guess what they've just managed to do in Sweden? Herd immunity. The infection graph, the death graph, adjusted for population size, is identical in Sweden as in the UK over the summer, and they did not lock down, they did not wreck their economies, they did not avoid diagnosing 500,000 cancers, 10,000 of which are in children. How lovely. Hey, the government tells you that this lockdown saved a couple of grannies, but think of the 10,000 children with cancer who never got screened. If it doesn't make you want to, kick off, if it doesn't make you want to fight back, then there's something wrong with you. Now, each day that passes, my hope that it's all going to be okay, that wanes. It's starting to fade away. I think now with each day, new corporations are jumping on board and waving the flag of the Great Reset. Latest ones I've seen is North Face, Microsoft, Boeing, big companies that attend Bilderberg, the people that attend Davos. And here's the thing, you read the documentation at the World Economic Forum website, thegreatreset.com, and it's terrifying. They have a youth arm called not influencers, it's something even more dark than influencer. And their videos are all very urban, very colorful and flash, narrated by young people. Because just like in communist China, in Maoist China, just like in the Soviet Union, even Hitler, even in the brown shirts, they use the energy and the vigor and the naivety, the stupidity of the young to get their plans underway. Now, to kind of pause for a moment, let me gather my thoughts. Okay, so more reading on the World Economic Forum for the Great Reset. There is no mention anywhere of democracy, democratic values, the will of the people, anything like that. Standard Western fare since ancient Greece. Also, it's look, democracy is imperfect, but as Churchill said, it's the best of a bad bunch. But the big business types, they are in awe of the Chinese model, where they literally mix corporate freedom with governmental control. Now, I think, this is like a version. Jesus Christ said 2,000 years ago, separate the church and state, when he said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's. Boom, the Western world is born. Big values around the world. Don't keep the church and the state together. Well, in the new religion, the new church is aggressive Chinese-style Marxist capitalism. Now, that sounds ironic until you go onto the World Economic Forum website and read a big article from some high-flying asshole financier saying, and I quote the title, "Is it time capitalism had a little bit more Marxism?" Ay, guys. So, a couple of months ago, you all noticed that the metric for the pandemic, as in deaths, which is obviously the main one, it's what's important. Do you get the disease and do you die? Because people stopped dying, or they stopped marking them down as COVID related. They went to a new metric. They went to the infection metric, even though all the evidence shows that the very vulnerable people, the very ill, the very elderly, that were going to die anyway, momentarily, not to be flippant, but let's just be cold about it for a moment. All those very old people died, and they would have died had they caught the cold, the flu, pneumonia, any bacterial infection, but it just happened to be COVID-19 that made them pass away. Now, those people all passed away in the initial arrival of this virus in the UK, whenever it was, March, April, big peaks in April. So the government decided, no, we can't control the population and ensure that everyone stays locked down for the Great Reset to work. So let's change it to just infections. And then what happens? Boom. Some excellent people on YouTube, on Facebook Live, on video. They get their coronavirus test in the post, because you can get it by post. You don't have to come to this car park here and have these private security stick the cotton bud down your throat. You can do it yourself. And there's videos, a lot of people get the test, click it open, don't stick it into their body. They just take the sterile test, send it back, wrap it up, send it back, and it comes back with false positives. And even mainstream sources now are saying, Jesus Christ, when you're testing millions of people a week, in this rushed, desperate way to just build up the numbers, you're going to have a lot of false positives, and no one's going to criticize them. What is interesting, though, is the Swedish model. To talk about Sweden again for a moment. They didn't lock down. Everything was advisory. There was no rules. They certainly did not bring in legislation like British Parliament, where all the MPs signed it like a bunch of bitches because they're terrified. Coronavirus Act legislation. They've just done another round of it now for lockdown quarantine number 2, round 2, version 2, 2.0. So, ladies and gentlemen, in my final segment now, it's becoming increasingly clear to even your ordinary proletarian that there is no return to normal. The new normal has been renamed the brave new normal. And you know what? For a moment there, a few years ago, when I was working again, I was just doing YouTube as a hobby. I was having children. I think I was having my second child during the golden years. I've had the third child now, who's asleep in the back of the car. I honestly believed, I'd managed to wing it to retirement, to old age, in a kind of happy neoliberal world where everything was over. I thought the New World Order and worldwide technological digital lockdown was a kind of dream, a bad dream from the likes of Alex Jones or David Icke. That's what I thought. And then next thing you know, you fast forward a few years where I've had Isaac as a baby, and he's 1.5, and we are literally living in a fusion. It's a present tense thing. It's the current fusing of government and corporations into one holistic digital system. Now, I advise you all to read the official papers or documents at the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset. I think that's very important. And after that, I'll say the time to go dark seems to be approaching, and it seems to be approaching in an exponential, accelerating manner, which is quite disturbing. So, from inside the car, from not so sunny Swinton, this is Charlie wishing you all good luck. Keep your eyes open and remember, and this is the most important thing to remember, all these people, all governments, all politicians, they all work for you. And they're going to try and convince you that you're a meaningless flesh and blood number on a computer screen, that they have the right to change your life or to order your life in one way or the other. If this means war, guys, then it means war. It's a passive population that doesn't fight back that will get eventually marched into the gas chambers. So, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.